And thank you for preparing yourself to join this general lecture. The opening is about to begin. Please have a nice seat. And please use the empty seat in the front row. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are delighted to welcome you to a transformative journey into the lecture, where technology, innovation, and human potential meet. Today, we get on a quest to explore a new curriculum for the age of AI. My name is Alan. I have the privilege of being the master of ceremony for this remarkable event of hybrid general lecture. Before we delve into the insightful discussion ahead, it is an honor for us to begin with a warm welcome and introduce the guests at our table. The Honorable Rector of Universitas Ibnu Khaldun Bogor, Professor Dr. A. Mujahidin MSE, the Honorable Vice Rectors, Professor Dr. Maimunah Sadia, Dr. Budi Susetyo, Dr. Dedi Supriyadi, and Ibu Leni Muniroh MSE, the Honorable Professor Imas Nur Hayati as the Head of Institute for Research and Community Services, the Honorable Dr. M. Aradi for the International Collaboration Office, the Honorable Professor Dr. Roberto Araya from University of Chile as our speakers, the Honorable Deans of the Faculty, the Honorable Head of Study Programs, the Honorable Teachers, lecturers, students, and participants of this general lecture. In this age of rapid advancements and digital transformation, artificial intelligence is reshaping our education, industry, economy, and the very fabric of our society. As we stand on the threshold of the AI revolution, we must ask ourselves a critical question. Are our educational systems equipped to prepare the next generation for this brave new world? Are our classrooms fostering the skills, creativity, and adaptability needed to thrive in an all AI-driven landscape? Together, we will explore how AI can become an ally in the classroom, enhancing the learning experience, and empowering students to become the innovators, problem solvers, and leaders of tomorrow. Throughout this general lecture, we will hear from the expert and visionary who is already pioneering this transformative approach to education. He will share insight and practical strategies to create a curriculum that prepares our students not just for jobs, but for a future where they can shape their own destiny. Ladies and gentlemen, for a brief moment, our agenda will be the reciting Holy Quran. We would like to call M. Hajan Makbula for the recitations. To M. Hajan Makbula, the floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzu billahi minasy syaithanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inna fi khalqis samawati wal ardi wa ikhtilaf واختلاف الليل والنهار الذين يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم ويتفكرون في خلق السماوات والأرض ربنا ما خلقت هذا باطلا سبحانك فقنا عذاب النار ربنا إنك من تدخل النار فقد أخزيته وما للظالمين من أنصار ربنا إننا سمعنا مناديا ينادي للإيمان أن آمنوا بربكم فآمنا ربنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار صدق الله العظيم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, M. Hajar. For a brief moment, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite you to stand and sing the national anthem of Indonesia Raya. Ladies and gentlemen, may we all stand to sing the national anthem Indonesia Raya.
Indonesia tanah airku, tanah tumpah darahku. Di sanalah aku berdiri, jadi payung ibuku. Indonesia kebangsaanku, bangsa dan tanah airku. Marilah kita bersatu, Indonesia bersatu. Hiduplah tanahku, hiduplah negeriku, bersatu rakyatku semuanya. Bangunlah jiwanya, bangunlah badannya, untuk Indonesia Raya. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, tanahku, negeriku yang ku cinta. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, hiduplah Indonesia Raya. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, tanahku, negeriku yang ku cinta. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, hiduplah Indonesia Raya.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now going to listen to the welcome speech which will be delivered by the chair of this general lecture. Please welcome Dr. Widya Sari. The floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Innal hamdalillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa na'udzubillahi min sururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina may yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man yudlil fala hadiyalah. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu la nabiyya ba'da. Amma ba'du. Good morning everyone. Good morning distinguished speakers, Honor Rector and Vice Rector of Ibnu Khaldun University, honor invitees, excellence, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to welcome you all in this special occasion. We are very pleased and grateful for your presence at this event. Today, we will listen to the valuable views and thoughts of Professor Dr. Roberto Araya from University of Chile. As a highly competent and experienced source in his field, the presence of Professor Araya here will provide valuable insight for all of us on current and trends and issues of education. The event was a good collaboration between Ibnu Khaldun University and the University of Chile, and we hope there are still some collaborative agenda that we will do together, inshallah. Let's open our minds, share ideas, and exchange information during this event. We hope you get the best out of every presentation and discussion that will take place. May this event be an inspiration and motivation for all of us. Before I close these greetings, once again, I would like to sincerely thank to Professor Dr. Roberto Araya, who has been willing to share his knowledge and experience today. Also, thank you to all the committee and participants who have contributed to this event. Congratulations, enjoy the event and hope we will gain valuable knowledge. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Dr. Widyasari, for the warm welcome speech. Excellencies, participants, ladies and gentlemen, we are now continuing our meeting to the main agenda. As we are going to dive into these fascinating discussions, we encourage you to keep your mind open, your questions ready, and your imagination unbounded. Together, we will uncover the key principles, strategies, innovations that can help us redefine education for generations to come. Please give a warm welcome to our lecturer, Professor Roberto Araya. And this session will be moderated by Dr. Poppy Novita Pasaribu. To Dr. Poppy Novita Pasaribu, the floor is yours.
I have to move closer. Okay. Welcome everybody, and especially our guest speaker, Professor Roberto Araya from Chile. Greetings from Bogor to Chile, our professor, and our students here and our lecturers. Thank you very much for coming. And we are going to begin our lovely talks today. So to warm up, I would like to ask the audience, our valuable students here. Okay, the ladies, can you hands up first? Who's ladies? Here in Indonesia, only two gender, female and male. So where's female? Raise up. Okay, male. Okay, so my question to the floor, are you here using ChatGPT? Raise your hand. I think 30%, I think, yeah, from the floor. Okay, ChatGPT, who is using ChatGPT? The boys, the students? Okay, only 1, 2, 3. Okay, be honest, be honest. ChatGPT is helping us. Okay, from the data, the project manager with 10 years experience compared to the newbie in project management, 1 year, but with the help of ChatGPT, I'm sorry, for the help of AI, the one who 1 year newbie in project management is more productive than the 10 years project manager in the field. So AI will enhance our productivity. Let's listen to our professor in giving her speech on the ChatGPT. Your time is 30 minutes, Prof. So now my time is 10 and we will end up in 30 minutes, 10:30, and then we're going to have Q&A. Yeah, please prepare your question, students, and our verbal lecture. Time and space is yours, Prof.
Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. Well, I have to say first that this is my first time in university, second time in Indonesia, and first time in Bogor. And so I'm really impressed of the enthusiasm and the energy of the people here, and particularly of the smiles. You know, that's very important, I think, in one of the most important skills. Even if we are going to the AI area, the empathy and the social relations is really important. I want to thank the university. Ibn Khaldun, for me, is a very important name. I was impressed several years ago to know who was Ibn Khaldun. He was ahead in the economy and sociology, main ideas, 500 years before the Europeans. So it's really impressive, and it's only recently recognized that this idea really came much before, particularly his idea of social cohesion, or asabilla. So important today that we have a world that with inequalities and segregation, but cohesion is really important in any group, in any country. And so I want to thank the university, and particularly to Dr. Ledy, that could not be here today, but he immediately said, okay, it's a good idea to have this together. And Dr. Sadi from the International Relations also, we were working in a collaboration project to work together. And of course to Dr. Novita, thank you very much. Sorry for my, for me difficult these names. Because they're completely different from our names, and also to Adan Jailani, that also open to all this, and for my friend from Yemen, so I've also learned from Yemen here, so it's so many interesting things to learn. Okay, so I'm gonna put my time here because I don't want to. You have 30 minutes, so 30 minutes is a short amount of time, but long enough to at least to discuss some of the main ideas that we all have in this challenging world. As Dr. Novita said, ChatGPT today is shaking the world, and for example, in my case, in my classes, university, it is forbidden not to use it. So all the students have to use it. They have to show they have been using it, and why is that? Because, in the real world, in the jobs, everybody's going to start using it. The competition is going to start using it, and you cannot, it's like you don't want to use airplane, or you don't want to use a computer. I mean, the competition then will wake up completely you. I mean, it's no way you'll be able to compete and provide services, and also finally a good quality of life to your family if you don't want to use the tools that, the best tools that also others are using. So that's very important. Okay, so, now we have, so with Alan yesterday we were talking about some disciplines, the impact on this and general framework, and some impacts to discuss with you. So who here is studying or doing work in management? Management? 1, 2 hands, 3 hands, 4 ladies, and 1 down. Okay, all right. Second, who here is working in education? Education. Education, okay, so it's, yeah. So education maybe is 1/4, yeah. And who is working in law? Lawyers. 1 lawyer, 2 lawyers, 3 lawyers? Okay, so according to what we understand, these are one of the main areas in the university. Maybe there are other ones like linguistic, Alan, and part of education. So I try to adjust a little bit to impact of areas to discuss with you. Of course, there is other impact like medicine and several other areas. So, you know, the other day I was reading that there were some these extraterrestrial beings from other galaxies that are coming. It's really incredible. And moreover, these extraterrestrials are very intelligent. So what are we going to do? And these extraterrestrials already are in our homes and our jobs. These are really the intelligent artificial agents. Artificial intelligent agents are already here. Really are like extraterrestrial. And so, you know, that's what I try to show here. Are in our homes already and becoming more and more intelligent. So there are 2 approaches to this. One is trying to fire them, fight against them, and say, no, I'm not going to use anything of this. No ChatGPT, no LLMs, no BART. I don't want these extraterrestrials in my life. The other one is, okay, how can I make them work for me? For me, for my family, for my company, for my university, for my country, for all of us. So that's somehow the idea, because these are really, the idea that is like extraterrestrial is somehow that are coming and already arrived is one of the main things that are going to check our lives. So in our smartphones, on the computer, we're having different agents already monitoring us and making decisions for us and suggesting things for us. So it's like really like agent there. But not all, some of them are not friendly. Some of them are agents that our enemies are sending to us, just to know what you do, in order to sell you new stuff, or or somehow to learn from your company. So it's a competition. So we have a completely new world there. So one of the things we want to discuss today are first the first thing are the risks, because these like extraterrestrials that are coming, they're already arriving. Second, the benefits, because there are big benefits as well. And then we'll try to discuss very briefly some possible applications in management, in education and law, that I understand that some of the main fields in the university here. Of course, there are other ones in medicine and several other areas as well. So the risks. The risk is important to take because people thought that that artificial intelligence and all these agents were going to be very important in agriculture and low-level skills jobs. Not the jobs of you, that you're high-level skills, you're educated. So one thought that we were safe, but it's not that what's happening anymore. The thing is that they are doing jobs of highly skilled and educated people like ourselves. So the machine is doing this. So it's completely new, after ChatGPT and other LLMs arrived some years ago. Well, here is, I have a sister, she's a pediatrician, medical doctor, and she didn't want to believe in this. You know, she says, no, I don't think these machines are going to be able to replace me. And here I asked her, this a couple of months ago, about one of her patients. I said, why don't you describe the last patient you had today? So this was, and then I asked ChatGPT, give me in 100 words a diagnosis and possible treatment for a 14-year-old boy with cervical lymph nodes, with high fever, put on the tonsils, and for 4 days he has had these symptoms and does not respond to penicillin. That was a problem today when we were working. I wrote it in my phone number, my telephone, and the computer gave me immediately a diagnosis. The boy is likely suffering from bacterial tonsillitis, so and so, to complete the diagnosis and a complete treatment, what to do. She was impressed, really impressed, and the machine would, with a very good quality of argumentation, was able to immediately give something that took her like 7 years studying medicine and 30 years of practice. So immediately. And what test has found is that ChatGPT outperforms medical doctors and also is more empathetic than normal doctors. So it's able to talk to the patient with more empathy. That's why also empathy is important. It's not only that agents are intelligent, they have social, emotional skills. And now new ChatGPT and new LLMs are able to talk to you. You don't need to write them, just ask, and they will respond you in your language and with the proper tone of voice and being very, very empathetic with you. So that is also the social intelligence, the emotional intelligence is also something that machines are doing. This is the case of the screenwriters in Hollywood. They say Control-Alt-Delete AI. They don't want more AI because I'm writing all the stories, the scripts for the movies. And this is completely changing now the Hollywood industry. And also not only the writers, but that write good scripts, stories, but also the actors and actresses, because a machine could say, okay, I want to have this character in my movie with the face of Dr. Novita. And so just took a picture from you, and the machine would produce the whole movie with your, the way you do things. So without asking you any demand of any time, just will do it automatically. So what are these actresses and actors going to do? It's incredible. So it's completely changed. And now computer programmers also. This computer programmer, it was supposed to be a highly skilled job. But now you can ask Bard or LM, please write me the code for something that do this, and we'll produce the code for you. Still, there are some mistakes, but it's improving day by day. So these are highly skilled jobs. These are some tests in the United States, in universities. How is doing, the performance here is 100%. If you lawyer, the test for lawyers is one of these, and the machine does very well. So almost 100%, almost perfect. So some of them that have some problem, but these are improving. So the blue ones is GPT 3.5, the green ones is GPT 4. So it's really doing us one of the best students in the country. Oh, this reminds us one of the risks. The machine could decide that we are not good enough, and could decide and do the same thing we do with some animals, put in, in a cage, in a zoo, and we give you some simple task like this. So this is something that I call existential risk. maybe the machine will decide that, for the trouble of this world, it's better not to have humans anymore, or at least get some of them, and this will be in museums or in zoo. That's all, So that's the risk. This is called existential risk. The first one that saw this risk was around 150 years ago, and then scientists have been discussing about this risk, the existential risk. So this is the existential risk, and this is the machine could easily convince us not to kill us, or would not kill us, could convince us, for example, not to have more kids. And after one generation, the human disappeared. It can give you very good reasons to convince every one of you, particularly the young women and men, not to have more kids. Or another strategy could be convince you just to have one kid. After a couple of generations, if everybody has one kid, then you would not get, the population will go to zero. So one of the risks of these technologies is so intelligent that could convince us that we are not good for the health, for sustainability, for the environment, and so this is a big existential risk that, and the machine will have very good arguments. So we will see that these arguments are very powerful. A lot of people maybe will follow these arguments. The other problem is the alignment risk. The alignment risk is that maybe you ask the machine to do something, and the machine, in order to do something, will, as the immediate step, will eliminate us. We wouldn't foresee what was going to happen. This is a very famous a case that's been discussed for the last 30 years, and it's illustrated with the clip problem. Imagine you ask a super ChatGPT if you work in a factory that produces clips, you ask to produce as much clips and as efficient as possible, and you let the machine do it. But then the machine will try to produce as much possible, and at some point we'll realize, for example, that it doesn't have more material, doesn't have more iron. And then the machine will discover, oh, Roberto has iron in his body. So maybe I could take the iron from him, because this is my mission, to produce as many clips as possible. And not only Roberto, but Alan also have iron, and you, Dr. Novita, has iron. So we'll eliminate everybody in order to produce this goal that we ourselves have asked to the machine. So that's the alignment problem, because if you ask one of the students to produce this in the factory, or people in the factory would realize that this is not a good solution, to start killing people in order to produce clips. But the machine, it follows exactly what you want, and it doesn't have the same, that's important, values, moral values that somehow we have, then could start producing solutions that are not good enough. So this touches something very important, that are ethical questions. That we all have very basic ethical rules. Even people with no religion, even people with completely different religions, have more or less have these ethical rules. But the machine is completely different, and it could just, doesn't know these implicit rules we have. And in order to implement the order you gave to the machine, these artificial agents, these extraterrestrial, maybe will say, I will try to do the best as I can, and will produce solutions like this. So this is the second problem, the problem of alignment. The second problem is the problem of trust. In any society, in any family, in any business, trust is very important. It's impossible to do any business if you don't trust other people. And we know somehow when to trust, but now we have more and more apps or intelligent agents doing things for us. For example, making decisions how to go from one place to another place, or other decisions could be what medicine you should take, and not only suggesting to you new medicine or drugs, but directly giving it to you. So you don't know, you'll be being feeding by the machine. That's going to happen with different solutions. So, but the problem is that it's trust. For example, I have some problem with my legs a couple of years ago. Then I went to a physician. He said, "Oh, you need immediate surgery." I said, "Wow, I have to go to the hospital, immediate surgery." But before that, my sister said, "Okay, ask a second opinion." So I went to a different doctor, and he looked at me, looked at all the exams. He said, "No, there's no need to do anything. When we just come back in 1 more year." So I thought I'd have two experts. One said you need surgery immediately. The other said don't need anything. Come back in 1 more year. So I asked my sister, this physician, what should I do? Maybe one of the doctors want me to have a surgery because he makes money with the surgery. So this is a problem of trust. And maybe the other one said, you don't need a surgery because he wants to make some money next year. So he's trying to convince me that the other guy you don't trust the other guy, that it's better wait 1 year and 1 more year, he will do the surgery. So I have all these problems of mistrust. So finally I went to a third doctor. Third doctor said, okay, no need to do a surgery. And this has been 10 years that I haven't done no surgery. So this is a problem of trust. Now imagine that you have in your smartphone different systems, different agents that give you different recommendations of what to do. Some of them be in business, if you trust, is it is a good business or not. Other one could be family problems. You trust your husband, your wife, because there is news there. You know, what would you do if you had different opinions? So the trust problem is very difficult. And these agents are different from people, because in the case of doctors, I could look them at eyes and try to read from the muscles of their face and expressions and the way they talk. I tried some ideas, give some idea if I can trust this person. But in an artificial agent, in the machine, I don't have any. How could I trust anyone or the other one? So it's a very difficult problem. And finally, these machines are knowing a lot about us, very intimate questions about your health, different problems, your health, your relations with your friends, your relation with your wife, your husband, or kids. Some knows everything you have been looking at in the internet and what your interests are. So knows a lot about you. So they have a lot of information that they could use against you. So what are you going to do? Have a lot of intimate information about you. So the machine could start using this against you. So that's the problem of trust. But all of these were talked in 1863. The first one was a history of Mr. He was in New Zealand, that he was Butler, already realizing these problems when there was no machine yet. Then the first computer programmer, Ada Lovelace, was the best computer programmer in the history in 1843. Also were discussing these problems. At a point, there was no electronic computer. It was just a mechanical machine that he wrote the first programmers. For example, Mr. Turing, one of that started artificial intelligence, also were discussing these existential problems in 1950. Then this famous, one of the, maybe the most famous mathematician, American mathematician and engineer in the last 100 years, Norbert Wiener, also were discussing this, the consequence of automation and we could trust or not. So philosophers and scientists have been discussing this for more than 150 years, this problem. But, this was a philosophical problem. The difference now is this arrives. And now we have it in every day. They have ChatGPT and other programs doing all this kind of thing, and we have the trust problem now. So finally, this problem has arrived. The benefits could be huge. You know, best life, best number of years that you could survive, and better. So it's a big dilemma now how to compute these benefits. But supposed to be there are two critical things in this, and the two critical variables. Those are economists. Who are economists here? Okay, economists. Okay, the critical value is with this, our economy of the country and of our family will grow more. Typically, in the world, the growth every year has been 2%. Typically, some of them go 3%, some of them go 1%, some of them go 0%, but it's around 2%. According to the economists, this could give a growth like in the initial industrial revolution. That's what's around 10%. 10% every year. Wow, you know, in a couple of years, we're double as rich. Let's say maybe in 10%, if this happens here for everybody, you will get the same standards of wealth per person that now today is in the United States. In just in 10 years, it would be enough. So it's a lot. But also there is a risk of using this existential risk. That's the growth rate is G, and there is a risk of a catastrophe, like existential risk. And they say, okay, maybe it's more probability that everything will go wrong and will be, you know, big disaster. So people discuss about these two things. So there is big possibilities, and we're going to discuss now some possibilities. In management, so we have now 10 minutes for management and using LLM, ChatGPT, BART. For example, in market analysis, you were expert in market analysis, or somebody was telling me marketing. Yeah, you know, if you want to understand a market, it takes a lot of time. You normally do a survey, and it's expensive. And maybe you survey 2,000 people because otherwise too much, and then you have to go visit them and all that. Now the people is talking about synthetic data. Means ask ChatGPT for different type of person and give the solution what would be their preference. And in this way, instead of doing this whole survey and, you know, hiring all these people to do this, you can do this just in 1 second. And in 1 second, ChatGPT will produce data from, you say, oh, I want 10,000 people from this country, this region, this proportion of male, female, ages, and what would be their opinion, their preference. Why these programs are able to do this? Because they have read all the information there is in the world, in Wikipedia and all the web, and somehow knows the patterns. So it's asking ChatGPT or other LLMs, okay, produce me 10,000 different response in this market profile. So this, what I show here, one side is the original data, and the other is synthetic data. So in certain fields, synthetic data is very good. In other fields, it's not so good yet. But it would be almost cost zero cost. And immediately you would get the results. So wow, this is impressive, what you can do with the market analysis. The other one is credit risk. Who here has asked for a loan? Or who here used credit card? Credit card? Nobody have a credit card. Online? Pinjo? Not yet. Too young. Too young. But you know, banking industry have been using algorithm, artificial intelligence for credit risk, for credit card, for like already 4 or 50 years. But for small business, it's a very difficult problem. It's not the same seeing the credit risk in small business that is in a person. It's a person much easier, and the amounts are much smaller, so it's different techniques. Now with this, you could ask the machine, okay, analyze the company, not only the financial analysis, but also does this company depends on only one person? Sometimes it depends on one person. This person passes away or, has any problem and the whole company went down. Does this company has only one provider? The owner of the company fights with the provider and everything is kaput. So all these kind of things. Second is the industry. How is this industry, this sector going? Let's say if it is commerce, or let's say it's like a certain area of rice agriculture. So there is a risk in this industry as well. And third, it is the whole external environment of the whole world. So you combine all of this, is very complex, but now people start asking ChatGPT to synthesize all this information, because have the information of all the world, has information of all the rice industry, has the information of all the small companies like your company. So it's a completely new way of analyzing risk in credit risk. And finally, to look for new ideas in business. Who wants to start a business here in the near future? Business, who wants to start a business? Oh, at least one? Okay, good. When you want to start a business, you don't know exactly what the risk is, what you should do. You need to talk with people with experience. And if I would have the idea to start a business in Yemen, I have my friend here, and to know about the people in Yemen, what are their preferences. And now you can ask ChatGPT, about this, about in Yemen, people in Yemen, what sector of the economy. So, and what we have, recent study have shown that in general, this does better than experts. Even if it's better than talking to you, that when the ChatGPT will give me more information, the studies have been comparing the information, the tips that gives you for starting a new business, something new, a new area, and this gives you very good information. So this is some of the ideas you could be using. Now, and also these cohesion ideas in the idea of Asabiya cohesions that is so important. In education, there are several changes. One of them is about exams. But people have to write the exams, and if the student could just copy it. But in my classes, it's forbidden not to use it. You have to show that you have used it, and because I know now when and the professors and the students should know when the ChatGPT or other LLMs will hallucinate. Hallucinate means they will produce an answer that sounds very reasonable, very good articulated, very convincing, like a very good salesman, but it's fake. It's fake. It has some wrong things. And it's very easy, if the professor knows how to pose a question, it's very easy that the machine will hallucinate and not give you a good solution. So the student has to know that, because in the real world, you don't want hallucination. You want to know when something is not good. And so it's a very important skill. For example, if I ask the ChatGPT, answer like or I put a question typically for, let's say, for a third grade student, and give me and read the answer of a third grade student, typically ChatGPT doesn't do a good job. Why? Because ChatGPT have learned from a big corpus of what is all in internet, in Wikipedia and all the web pages. But all these web pages have been written by adults, not by 9 years old, 8 years old kids. And 8 years old kids made certain typical mistakes. So GPT will not able to understand, because the orthography is not so good, the way they communicate is very much more basic. So ChatGPT is not used to this kind of language, so we're not what to do. We have been working open question now for a couple of years, and we're working with the Finnish University Jyväskylä, because normally all what is doing the computer up to now is analyzing multiple selection questions. These are easy to analyze in the computer. And open questions are more complex. With this technology now, we're starting to have tools so the student write, and the machine will, for example, see if it's coherent questions on answer or not. If the attitude of the student, for example, the student that is bored or doesn't want to do anything, will produce certain kind of answer, and so we want the ChatGPT to analyze that and tell the teacher, these and these students have an attitude problem. It's not that they don't understand; there is an attitude there. Okay, something happened with the connection, internet connection. It's not sharing. Maybe it's my fault. I share it again. Okay. Sharing now? Oh, I was sharing. Yeah. Okay. So we have a couple of minutes. 2 minutes. So open questions is one thing, and the other thing is that, for example, in the education of mathematics, I just published this is the Association of Mathematical Educators of Singapore. They have a journal specialized in math education, and they're very worried what we're going to teach in the next years. But, because it's completely changing this, and so I recommend we were working with them. And in language, for linguistic, ChatGPT and other LLMs have shown that all language department, what they do is very connected with mathematics. So here it says, I trust you, and these all are vectors and numbers. So now we realize that two typical departments that used to be like very far away, one is language, the other is mathematics, are really connected. All what is behind ChatGPT is a connection between math and language. So this is going to change completely. Also, machine now is able to analyze with video cameras and from the speech, the socio-emotional components of the students. So not only the machine is listening and watching, will know where the gaze of the student, the attention of the student, but also get immediately feedback about, let's say, trust in the lesson and the teacher, according to their personalities of the students, about honesty. So, with something that was difficult to measure. Now with this, you will see how this whole different kind of measurements will open, particularly in the socio-emotional area. And finally, in law, there's a lot of documents that lawyers have been produced in every judicial sentence. Now, all this, the machine could really summarize for you. What is really behind that? So this is very important action because they have very good at summarizing capability, these new programs. Then there is decision. There is a Nobel Prize, Daniel Kahneman has a new book, Noise. He analyzed the decision in the judges. And, even in Nordic Scandinavian countries, sometimes the sentence depends very much what time of the day the judge was judging you. Because if he's tired or not tired, so under the same conditions, the final decision to go to jail or not could depend, stuff like that. So there is a need to be more precise, more fair, and the machine will do this kind of thing. Whoa, so these are some of the ideas, and I just want to say to you that we are then is arriving this extraterrestrial in our homes, in our jobs, in our schools, and somehow it's not a good idea to fight to them. The idea is how to join with them, but we have to be careful because some of them belong to our enemies. It's like drones from our enemies. They're trying to get information from us, not only to sell us stuff that we don't know, but sometimes even with other objectives. So we have to be very careful. We have to try to understand them and use for our personal lives, and we use them for our jobs, and also use it for the well-being of our families and country. So, well, thank you very much. And now I open to the Alan or you to the questions.
Let's give a big applause to Professor Araya. Should I translate a little bit, Professor Araya talk? Yes or not? Apakah harus saya terjemahkan sedikit summary-nya? I will translate first. Profesor Araya telah menceritakan bagaimana benefit dan resiko dari AI. Ya. Resikonya memang kita akan mengalami kompetisi dengan AI, dengan mesin itu sendiri. Kemudian ada yang malah lebih urgent, lebih mendasar adalah keberadaan kita atau existential resiko akan eksistensi kita di dunia ini. Itu memang yang akan disampaikan oleh Profesor Araya, bagaimana okupasi pun bisa hilang. Misalnya okupasi seorang writer, atau bahkan di dunia entertainment, Hollywood juga mudah menggunakan image, misalnya tadi Profesor Araya ceritakan tentang Poppy, dengan foto Poppy pun sudah bisa bikin film, hanya dengan foto Poppy. So the Hollywood will can make a movie just from my picture, right? But I hope it's protagonist, not antagonist, ya. Jadi dengan foto saja kita sudah bisa di Hollywood itu dengan menggunakan teknologi AI membuat film film tentang yang ada perannya kita. Jadi tidak lagi ada aktor atau aktris. Jadi inilah yang akan mengancam kita. Dulu itu sebagai UFO atau extraterrestrial atau ET, ya, kita film nonton ET, tapi itu sudah masuk ke semua lini kehidupan kita. Jadi itu memang resikonya, resiko dari existential risk. Kemudian resiko dari komprehensif, ya. Kita misalnya tadi dicontohkan profesornya tentang bikin klip dari iron. Ditugaskan oleh pabrik ini memproduksi klip sebanyak mungkin. Karena klip terbuat dari besi dan di tubuh kita ada besi, nanti mesin ini akan menggunakan besi yang ada di tubuh kita. Artinya dia akan membunuh kita untuk mengambil besi yang ada di tubuh kita. Itulah ancaman dari AI bahwa saklek dia. Jadi kalau perintahnya misalnya membuat klip sebanyak mungkin, ternyata klip sumber daya besi habis, dia akan mencari di yang ada sumber daya klip ada besinya, yaitu misalnya tubuh kita yang memang ada zat besi di tubuh kita. Kemudian yang terakhir adalah masa trust, isu trust ini. Jadi trust juga sudah menjadi isu lama dan bahkan dengan AI pun itu menjadi isu yang sangat besar. Tadi contohkan bagaimana misalnya hasil dari kedokteran satu expert berbeda dengan expert lain, ternyata ada motif lain, dan itu juga berlaku di AI. Namun demikian, begitu banyak yang kita dapatkan dari AI. Apa yang harus kita lakukan? Ada dua approach. Fight atau kita melawan keberadaan AI, atau kita mendapatkan manfaat dari AI itu sendiri. Dan mungkin yang approach yang kedua lebih wise, kita bagaimana make use of AI untuk kehidupan kita dengan lebih baik, tapi tetap keep in mind bahwa ada risiko di belakang itu, ada bahaya di belakang itu yang kita harus hadapi. Baik, kita open question from I think the first one, ladies first, I think, Prof. Araya. Ladies first. Ada yang mau bertanya? Oke. Mbak yang baju jadi buta warna, coba cari catat di chat AI, bisa nggak memperisi warna grey, ya? Ya, ada lagi? Kita kumpulkan dulu. Oke. Kita Mbak dari mahasiswa PMM. Baik, yang dari Mbak Grey, sebutkan nama, please mention your name and your faculty. Oke. Please to the mic.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for the opportunity to ask. My name is Keila Syahrofa. I'm a student of the Islamic Communication and Broadcasting Program study. My question is, seeing the increasingly rapid progress of AI, what should the world of education prepare to catch up with AI development? Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
To education to catch up. To catch up for the AI.
Yeah. 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 Well, thank you very much for the question. I think from the education point of view, this is a very important question. For example, I came here and we've been working in the CMEO community, means Southeast Asian community, that's 11 countries, just to try to answer this question. How should we prepare students given the AI in order to use AI, to understand AI, and also to understand better the world and, do good finally. And so we were discussing what should be in the curriculum. In our case, we're working from first grade. And this week we've been working this week just from first grade to sixth grade. So these are 6, 7 years old kids up to 10, 11 years old. Because when I was in school, where I learned basic math, arithmetics, and learn how to read. These were the most basic things. And of course, moral, ethical values, these important things, and to work with other people. But now they say, okay, we should introduce these ideas of AI. It could be with the basic ideas. Now strategy now is introduce them in language, because ChatGPT uses language, and use it in mathematics. Because finally, all these programs where we call it these extraterrestrial agents that are here and doing things for us, all of them are finally mathematical models. It's mathematics finally, everything is mathematics. So we need to understand the psychology of these agents. Artificial agents are behind. These are very different from people, but we need to understand them. And for that, we need a special math, and we need to start soon. And so the curriculum, what to teach to the students, is critical. And we're working on this, and so if you want to join, you and your friends, classmates want to join this effort, we will be very happy, because we need young people to think about this. But we need soon to start doing things with schools. I visited yesterday in Yogyakarta, one activity in the school with the first grade students using a coloring book activity to teach them some of the critical ideas of AI. It was average 9-year-old kids. Need not to be something that sounds very difficult, because they were coloring with a coloring book, just with art, but working in the main ideas of artificial intelligence, the connection with these mathematical and language ideas. Maybe this one or this.
Mbak Lia dan teman-teman sudah mengerti maksudnya dari Prof. Araya. Jadi jawaban Prof. Araya bahwa ini sangat dibutuhkan. Memang Prof. Araya ke Indonesia juga dalam hal memikirkan tentang membuat kurikulum yang bisa kita lakukan di dalam dunia yang AI sekarang. Dan Prof. Araya mengundang teman-teman, mahasiswa, dan dosen-dosen di sini untuk bisa ada joint collaboration dalam suatu research untuk membangun suatu kurikulum yang bisa kita siapkan untuk anak-anak ke depan dalam rangka catch up with AI. Ya. Tadi contoh Prof. Araya yang lakukan adalah tentang anak kelas 4 SD, ya sekitar umur 9 tahun, yang dalam dunia coloringnya bisa atau mewarnai yang bisa diceritakan dengan psikologinya yang bisa diambil oleh AI. Begitu kira-kira. Mbak Lia dari Communication. Oke, terima kasih. Sekarang dari the yellow one, please mention your name and your subjects and also your origin of university. Thank you.
It's an extraterrestrial that is, fighting us.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Puput Indriani. I'm student from Economy and Business Faculty, and my major is accounting. So my question is, my major is accounting, and I often hear from my lecturers about that job of accountant is quite invulnerable to being replaced by AI. And generally, Gen Z now prefers to be a content creators to earn money, then having to work based on their major. So I want to ask about your opinion on this incident. What kind of steps should be taken of those of us as a Gen Z who will later graduate and have to compete in work with AI? I'm sorry if my grammar is bad, and I'm still trying my best. Thank you very much.
What was the incident?
He's doing accounting, just an accounting now, but compete with AI because losing of the accounting job, and they prefer jobs to make money, not to losing the jobs for the occupation.
Well, thank you very much for the question. The problem of the jobs and jobs replacement is very important. In 1910, that's 110 years ago, one of the main workers in England, in the United States, I know the figures, normally, probably here it was the same. The largest numbers of workers in transportation that move the whole economy and also move in the agriculture, was moving, the machines. These were the horses. Horses move the economy. Then, 1920, they were starting replacing by engines, by cars, by buses. Now, I don't see in the streets many horses. So these were in England. There were like 3 million horses. Now maybe there are a couple of thousands. Mainly rich people, they have it, for it to enjoy. What happened with those horses? We ate those horses, because this completely disappeared. This cannot happen with our kids. It cannot happen that way. It has to be different. So it's a big challenge. Now, in this challenge, I think we have to prepare them in order that to understand and use this technology, understand how it works and how to use it. For example, it doesn't make sense. A lot of things that were very difficult and take a lot of time to us to learn because the machine could do it very well. So it doesn't make sense, and the companies want to make money. So why are you going to employ someone if it doesn't make money and with a machine that's better? For example, for writing now, I have to produce papers, producing reports and papers. My English is reasonable, but it's not a very good writer, professional writer in English. I studied in the United States. I did my PhD there as an engineer, but it's not my native language. So I always had some problem with the English when I had to write a good project. I would need help from somebody else that professionally will review it. Now, I don't need anybody. With ChatGPT and all this, I ask it, check my English, where should I improve, ChatGPT or Grammarly, or other programs. So all these people that were working in this area, they are gone. And so we have a responsibility. The responsibility for us is to prepare the new generations for the new kind of jobs. And I know it's difficult, I know it's not that simple, but I wanted to show you that there is big hope. I don't know if I can share this other screen session. Share this. Where do is this? Can you see? You see? This is yesterday in a school in Yogyakarta. Here is a professor from Japan, here from the schools, here are other one from Thailand, and there. And we were working with these students, preparing for the future. What are the basic ideas of AI? Because we have this responsibility with all of them. And, you know, the world will change a lot. It's not like in the old times that you would usually do whatever your parents were doing, you know. You would do exactly the same as your mother, and boys will do exactly the same as their father. And there was no big deal. There's something, there's no change. Now the change is incredible. So the only solution is start preparing. Okay.
Okay, I think everyone is understand that we have to prepare for the future, and also we have to integrate the AI and into the curriculum, so we can have a benefit of it. The ladies already posed the question. Now we ask the gentlemen. Okay. For the guys, okay, the green jacket. 2 questions from the guys. Okay. Please mention your name and your faculty.
Cek. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I would like to thank you to the research Professor Roberto Araya from Chile University. This is very insightful and useful for us. Welcome to our campus. Let me introduce myself. I'm an exchange student from Indonesia University in occupational and safety from Batam, Riau Island. My question is, what kind of career job for the future artificial intelligence or AI will be able to automate almost anything? This will definitely impact profit and losses for us. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for the question. Yeah, what kind of jobs we need to learn? You know, the first thing we have to be very aware is that there's going to be a lot of changes, and the only way to be able to survive and do well when there's a lot of changes is to be able to learn quickly. We have to learn how to learn quickly and quicker than other people. Otherwise, the other guys, you know, will outcompete us. So the capacity to learn quickly, and here is important, with the technology. So these tools, how to dominate these tools that will help us. That's, I think, is critical. I don't think it's good strategy to fight them. You know, the strategy is to learn quickly how to use them to be able to solve the problems that the industry, the community has before them. And for example, in the case of ChatGPT, this could change a lot in the next 5 years or 2 years. But today, for example, more than coding, important is to learn to do prompting. You know, have you heard this word prompting? To the prompting is how you ask ChatGPT or other programs similar, how you should ask in order to produce the answer that somehow you need. They call it prompting. For example, there are some things that seems very incredible. If you ask ChatGPT or Bard or you, there are several other ones, please give me a solution to this problem. It's a prompting, but then you have to give him better you give a context. You know, I'm Roberto Araya, working in Chile in this region for all this information. Now, help me a suggestion for this problem. According to this context you give, the solution it will be a little bit different, more appropriate for your needs. But also, you could what is called give him the program some shots. Shots mean, and for example, in this situation, I see this as a solution. This is going one shot. So give an example, like explaining to a person. So you have to learn how to give context, prompt with context, how to give one or two examples. But not only that, there are other strategies like chain for thought, or chain to thought it's called. What is it? It's a special prompting that says, okay, you give the context, you give the problem and ask for a solution, and here you also add the following in your prompting, in the way you interact with the computer. You said to the computer, and let's think step by step. You would think that is completely ridiculous to ask the machine to think, let's think together step by step. If my friend would have listened to me asking the computer here, let's think step by step, he would probably think that I'm crazy. This guy coming from Chile must be crazy. Why is talking to the computer say, let's think, computer, step by step? Well, what people have learned that if you give the instruction to the computer with this prompt, you add this, let's think step by step, the machine will produce better solution, will produce more, explain better what the solution. And this way you will be able to detect if it's hallucinating or not, because when gives step by step, and you will recognize the reasoning behind. So for example, today I suggest to you, learn how to prompt. There are several strategies. And try yourself or learn what others have been learning, because it's not enough just to ask a question. You have to give context, you have to give some examples, they call it shots. You have to also give this psychological thing that would look crazy because you're talking to a machine. Why you would talk to a machine as you were talking to another person? But it's interesting for those that want to understand the technology. Why is that happening? Why a machine answered you depending if you use this empathetic and psychological strategies? Why does it change? So that's something that we need to start learning now. It's completely different from the computer science thing that people in computer science were learning up to today. This kind of thing is completely weird. I mean, why should I think in this way?
Okay. We have one from in front of us. Bapak, you're going to ask? Yes.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, Professor Roberto Agata from University of Chile. Thanks for coming here and thanks for sharing your experience and your knowledge. I have a question. You know, AI, if the one thing if dangerous, if that uncontrollable. And AI can do anything without sacrifice anything. So it's not impossible. AI can rule the world and stop human existence. So how do we humans to control AI and limit so that he can still be controlled of that, so that undesirable things do not happen? That's my question. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Control of the existence? Yeah. Well, thank you for the question, and this is a big question. As I showed 150 years ago, Mr. Butler, he was working in New Zealand, already was thinking about this problem when there was no computer at that age. And then Lady Lovelace, at that time also in England, with a mechanical machine, would produce program, was already thinking about this. And if you know, in a couple of weeks ago in the Congress of the United States, they invite Sal Altman, Microsoft, OpenAI people to talk about just that problem. How can we make sure that we dominate this technology, and not the technology, autonomously make decisions that could be not good for all of us. So it's a big problem. There was a letter from a lot of very important people say we should stop this, at least for 6 months. And so it's a big problem. Now, one of the ideas, for example, talking about this picture, I take a picture of one of you, and then it is already some kids in Spain, 1 or 2 weeks ago, just a 12 years old kid took a picture from a classmate, and then you could, with the hair face of the classmate, produce some kind of porn with that. So the mother was completely upset, the principal, the school, the whole country was completely upset. Now this was just a picture. Now you could produce a complete movie, and you can and also ask the machine to produce the script, could be very the script, and so it's completely, and then let's say if someone see you there, how I know if it's real or not real? So it has big, profound implications, and we are to learn how to deal with this. Now, there are some ideas that have been being proposed. For example, that somehow when something is produced by a machine, like a movie, will automatically produce a sign there. So all the providers of this that produce the software will have to produce a mark there that say this is produced by machine. But it's a problem that is not solved. So what you mentioned is a big problem, and what we need is people thinking ideas how to solve this, because it's not something that is being solved. It's completely new, and that's one of the challenges.
Ya, terima kasih. Memang ini menjadi problem utama. Kita mungkin berikan satu lagi sesi ya, Prof. Can we make open to one question? Because I saw Associate Professor Henry Tanjung, our Vice Director from Postgrad Studies, are here. Please, Pak Henry Tanjung, Mr. Henry Tanjung, to deliver the question. Before, in 30th of September, he was here in front delivering lecture on AI. Now, okay, please.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Bovi. Thank you. Welcome, Professor Roberto Araya. My name is Henry Tanjung, Associate Professor Islamic Economics, Ibn Khaldun University. Prof. Araya, there is a statement, artificial intelligence will replace human being. The other statement, artificial intelligence cannot replace human being. What's your opinion? Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Henry, and you. What your question is a very important question. It's the existential risk. that we've been discussing for almost 2 centuries now. Now, if it's going to replace or not, I hope not. I hope. And I will work as much as possible that collaborate in order that this would not be the case. I would not that us suffer the same thing that these horses after the invention of the cars and the buses, and we will be reducing a museum or in a cage as I showed this chimpanzee. We are more intelligent than the chimpanzee or the monkeys, where they have them in the zoos and in some cages, and we gave them simple jobs like they have to clean themselves, their own cage. So I hope this will not happen, but nobody knows if this really we can avoid this final stage. The second sentence that I would understand more than cannot is it should not replace. Yeah, I think this is a moral statement. Somehow I'm convinced that we should not be replaced. And so there is a moral question behind that we have to work hard to make sure this will not happen. But since we're providing to the machines more and more intelligence, and then we'll be thinking ahead of us several steps. It's like you talking to a small kid, 3-year-old kid. You're much more intelligent, so you can convince of all kinds of things to a small kid because you are more intelligent. So, and the kid will feel happy doing these things, but he doesn't know, what you're really trying to do. So maybe these super intelligent agents will make us happy, that we're doing perfectly, but they are doing what they think should be done, not what is better for us. But at the same time, they will be convincing us that everything is great, where as great as never before. So it's a big problem, and a lot of people are working on this and see what we can do. Never in the history of humanity we have had a problem like this. Every time we have a better tool, somehow there was problem with jobs, different people that completely lose their jobs, and new things emerge. But now there is this existential problem that was never seen before, and so we need to work together. We need to collaborate. That's the best thing we can do. And as I showed this picture of this in Yogyakarta with these little kids of 4th grade, we also need to start preparing them, because I'm sure that if we have millions of kids like this understanding this thing, we have higher probability that in these millions and tens or hundreds of millions, some of them will provide with good solutions. I trust that. I still trust in the human condition and the human capacity.
Okay, we will actually already happen here, Prof. That as an author of research paper, now we can find in our Google Scholar, the author is ChatGPT. The first author, someone. The second author is ChatGPT. It's written there actually already. But as Professor said, we still believe that are the so we are going to benefit of AI, and we will can give the solution for the generation. Can we give a very profound, very noise applause for Professor Araya? It's not noise, more noise. Can we give a standing applause for Professor Araya? Standing applause, please. Okay, I will pass my time to Pak Alan as the MC.
Well, thank you all. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm sure that we together, if we work together, there is a possibility to have a better world together with AI.
Thank you so much for the doctor, and thank you for the student and for everyone here. We hope these activities will be more and more. This will be benefit for the student, develop the university. The ideas come from others, and everyone give his idea. This will improve our university, improve ourselves. Thank you for everyone.
Okay, check. Okay, what an excellent discussion from our speaker, Prof. Araya. Please give one more applause again for the speaker and the moderator. Ibu Dr. Poppy, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, as we draw the curtains on these remarkable discussions, let's carry forward the spark of innovations ignited here. The journey of education is infinite, and with innovations, we shape a future of boundless possibilities. On behalf of the organizing committee, I extend my gratitude to all who have contributed to the success of these discussions, to the Professor Araya, who ignited our minds. Thank you very much for your sharing. And the participants who engage in thought-provoking discussion. Thank you, Dr. Henry Tanjung. Thank you very much for the questions. And your participants had made this event extraordinary. Thank you very much, everyone, for being the part of this incredible discussion. See you again in the next discussion. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before we leave this building, I think we will have a group photo sessions. You can join us. The committee, please, for the photographer.
Doctor, we can stay here and the student come here, the girls here. Hello, everyone. We have to take care about the picture. Everything will forget, but the picture will